Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, and today we have my favorite guest of all, my favorite person to appear on my channel. We have Dan. I don't know why I give you like a grand entrance because you're in my videos all of the time.
Hey.
What's up, bro? So today we are making a video on the highly requested, long-awaited birth plan. Now I'm not gonna lie, I was gonna say I don't know why this has taken me so long to do. I do know why. I mentioned in a video earlier, I haven't sat down for a minute to film because I've just been distracted with being pregnant, and filming videos like day in my life videos, all of that is sometimes actually easier than me sitting down and talking, because with those I'm just like living my life and filming it. But for me to like sit down, gather my thoughts, talk to the camera, it just takes like a smidge more effort than I've been willing to give in life lately. But we're pretty...
We've been letting her get lots of sleep.
Yeah, whenever I'm tired, Dan's always like, he's always like, sleep, little baby, sleep. I'm like, all right.
Quite often lately, I've just been leaving the house just so I'm not making any noise. It's too tempting to get the dogs riled up. Or,
yes.
you know, bother her.
Yeah, and he's working
She's
on...
too cute. It's too distracting. So
he's been
letting her sleep.
Well, thanks, Dan. It is really, you've really been like a dream of a person to be pregnant with, because with being sick, it's like he's always, you know, encouraging me to sleep. He'll make me food. He'll pick me up food, rub my hips, all of the things. And so I just, on a side note, I guess I feel prompted to say, I not only feel extremely grateful for you as my pregnancy partner, which there'll be a lot of that talk in this video as we discuss our birth plan, but I also feel really grateful for you guys. I walk around, he will vouch, do I not walk around all the time saying that I feel so lucky and so blessed? And I know that you guys, not to take away from my gratefulness of you, are only part of the equation. Really, my gratefulness is to God that I have the kind of life that, like, if I'm feeling sick, I can go to sleep, I can rest. But I also feel grateful for you guys, because this is like, I don't know, you guys are a part of my job and my life and my community, and you've made it a possibility for me to be able to like recover and rest. Yeah. So to the birth plan, we have been a little bit nervous. I've been a little bit nervous to share, even though I've mostly just been excited to share, because I felt like when I did share what we were gonna do, we needed to give like this full-on explanation, which we don't. I know we don't owe anybody anything, but I still feel like we wanted to kind of explain. So where do I start this? The short answer. If you guys watched my very first day in my life when we went to our very first ultrasound, the 8-week ultrasound, our plan at that time, we thought, was to give birth in a birthing center. And I went off on this whole spiel in that video. Actually, it's kind of amazing that we have this documented, where I basically was like, if I wasn't pseudo famous, I would be doing a home birth.
How do I word this? I would love to have a home birth. That's like, if I could just pick anything, that's what I want to do.
I just wasn't well educated enough back then, and I was just scared, like, what if I'm the 0.25% of people where something goes wrong? Not only will I be dealing with the most devastating thing of my entire life, but I'd be living it out in front of everyone, and people that would just be so mean and like, why did you risk that? I guess just getting straight to the point, since that point, since I, you know, had that appointment, you know, felt my way through, and then started getting more education, which is that trigger word, we have completely changed our minds. And basically, some of you may have already guessed this, and I actually think I leaked this on Instagram at one point. We have now pivoted, and we are deciding to do a home birth. So that is our plan. I put plans around it, or quotes around it, because that is the plan, right? We have since found a midwife and a birthing services center out here in Nashville that has like a great reputation. People talk so highly of this place. So I'm jumping in this video really quickly to insert a clip explaining something that I realized I didn't explain in this whole video. And that was like the moment that I had the like, I don't care, I gotta do what I feel is right for me, for us, for our family. And that was basically when I was in my house one day. I've been really into pretty much most of my life, but I started watching these kind of videos like 12 years ago. Videos on education and homeschooling and really self-directed education. And I was watching this lecture, and all of a sudden about halfway through, I had a light bulb go off in my head where I was like, wait, this is really controversial. And like, people are really not gonna like these thoughts or these opinions. And all of a sudden it was like, ding, light bulb. I was like, oh, welcome to parenthood. So this is just like the first decision I'm having to make where people are gonna have opinions and I have to like weigh them out and decide. And I realized, knowing me and my interests, there's probably gonna be a lot of unpopular opinions, or I'm probably gonna have a lot of unpopular opinions. And so I might as well start making the decisions that I think are right for us now. And that was really like the moment where I was like, oh, got it. I just realized that I can't not make decisions that I want to make because I'm afraid of what people with other opinions will say. Because I totally respect their right to make their decisions that they think are best for them. So I have to live that out by making my own decisions that I think are best for me and, you know, my baby and my family. So yeah, okay, back to the video. Yeah, so I say plan because we do have a plan. We have found a midwife. We have found a birthing services center that is like super well respected here in Nashville. So that is our plan. But I say plan because everybody that has, you know, given birth or knows anything about giving birth knows that it's all kind of up in the air. Like, you do what you can, but at the end of the day, the goal is just to get the baby healthy and out of you. So assuming that I stay healthy, bless you, Bowser, that the baby stays healthy, our plan is to do a no intervention at home birth.
At home births are for low risk pregnancies only. And
yeah.
So she's healthy and she's down, and so am I. Because
yeah.
I want to be the one to help the baby out.
So that's part of it. He's super into science and animals and has been his whole life. So he has watched on TV and on Instagram so many animal births. He's not like grossed out. He's not grossed out by bodily functions in general. Like, I remember when we first started dating and you would like pick tampons up for me, and I was like, wow, this 19-year-old boy is like really mature. And you were like, yeah, it's whatever. It's how your body works.
I think it's immature to be grossed out about that.
And I appreciate that because I have obviously gotten to this place of wanting a home birth. Now, a lot of people, I feel like, are probably going to ask me like, wait, what? I thought you dealt with chronic pain, Nikki. Like, why would you want to do a home birth? And I do.
Expert in pain.
That's what we like to think. That I'm used to the pain. Someone also did comment who heard my leak on Instagram about wanting to do a home birth, and they were like, this or whatever, this girl's not going to be able to handle a home birth. You might as well pre-check yourself into the hospital. And I was like, that's definitely bannable. I like banned the person, which we never circled back to that. On a side note, we used to mention this in adoption videos, and we're actually going to be talking about adoption coming up soon in a video. But we would say that if you were rude or like, yeah, just rude, or said a trigger word like educate yourself, that's immediately like you're banned, you're gone, because we're not going into this blind. So a big part of this transition is we have now not only watched multiple documentaries, I have listened to many podcasts,
but spoken to live people.
Yes, I have
actually,
friends
that
have done
both
home births.
Experiences.
Yes, friends that have done hospitals,
yes.
birthing centers, and home births.
Yeah.
I'm listening to an Audible book right now. We've read statistics. Mm-hmm. So we're aware of like what other countries are doing, for example. So in pretty much every other developed nation in the world, midwives are used pretty much regularly. Not everybody's going to an OBGYN. A lot of other countries, they do home births. And this is not our opinion. I want to say this because I want to speak freely, but I want to speak freely from the place of like, you do you, boo-boo. Like I had a conversation with a friend a few days ago, and this friend kind of freaked out and was like, oh, am I doing the wrong thing? And I was like, whoa. No, everybody's got to decide what's right for them, but I don't want that to stop me from speaking about how I got to this process. So I'm going to speak about my opinions and how I got here, but that doesn't mean that I think that if you're choosing to do something else, or if I end up in that position, it's like the wrong way or the bad way. This is just like my thought process.
We're just talking about what we're doing.
Yeah, and like
not
how
what
we got
we should be telling other people to do, because
yes,
yeah, you do you.
Yeah,
right?
it literally you do you. And also just like how we got to this conclusion. So one of the main things that we really have believed through studying the birthing process more and more is that we think that it is a natural thing that women were made to do. So we feel like modern society has kind of morphed to this place of like everybody should go to the hospital to give birth. And we're kind of like, do you need to do that though? Because if you're healthy and if the baby's healthy, no one is sick. No one is injured. And now granted, I'm already hearing the responses of like last minute emergencies. What if something happens?
The hospital's still there.
The hospital's
it's not
still
moving.
there. Yeah. And midwives don't come over with just like, you know, essential oils and some towels. Like they're trained medical professionals in and of themselves to a degree. So they come with different, like one thing that I got from a lot of my nurse friends were like, well, what if you start hemorrhaging? And I was like, well, they come with 2 different kinds of medications. One of them is Pitocin, because Pitocin is not only known to induce labor, you know, to bring cramps on, but the other thing that it can be used for is to actually like clot you, like stop hemorrhaging. But there's a second medication as well, and I can't remember. So she will be coming with that. She'll be coming with resuscitative equipment, both for me and the baby. She'll be coming with suturing stuff, like the ability to give stitches, and just all kinds of things. So assuming I'm healthy, assuming the baby is healthy, we have just both come to the conclusion that it's a natural, healthy thing. And beyond that, I have some friends that have been like, why would you risk it in 2019 when you have access to hospitals?
Well, most people have conversations with people that have given birth, or you already have, and most likely it's been in a hospital. And so the stories that you hear, a lot of them are horrible, and they're always in hospitals. It doesn't have to be like that, and there aren't only good stories coming out of home birth either.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think just giving birth in general doesn't constitute as an emergency. As
that's
long
a good
as
way
you
to
don't,
summarize it.
You know, there's tons of
variables
and evidence leading up to the thing that, you know, will tell you if it's high or low risk.
Yeah, that can often be red flags, like blood pressure, you know, things going on with the baby. There's things that they monitor you for. Like at any point, I could be kicked out of the home birthing plan. You know what I mean? Like my midwife could be like, oh, just kidding. You've started testing for blah, blah, blah. You're not safe for a home birth. So they monitor you more and more and more the farther you get. And I think what I was going to say is before is people would say, why would you risk it in 2019 if there's even a tiny chance? And I think that, well, all of life is a risk. You take a risk just being alive. You take a risk getting in a car. You take a risk walking outside of your house.
Risks are also very fun.
But I think that there are a lot of potential benefits that can come. So like you're weighing it out, but I'm like, we're not just trying to like live life on the wild side and throw caution to the wind at home. There are positives that could come with a home birth. And one of those positives, well, there's a few positives that kind of have weighed into our minds. One of them is I think there is a potential for easier labor. I mean, it's already been proven that women's labor progresses better and easier when they are in surroundings that they're familiar with. And that's why a lot of times you'll go to the hospital and they'll tell you like, hey, you should probably go home and labor for a little bit. It's probably going to go easier for you. Plus, once you're in the hospital, you're oftentimes not allowed to eat or drink, which I know the reasoning, you could go into surgery, but I don't love that reasoning because, I mean, it's like, are we all going into surgery or do we have to plan for that? Like, who knows how long my labor is going to be? What if I need sustenance? But so they will tell you go labor at home. And I think that thought of like a woman's body doing better and not having a shy uterus and having this, the birthing progress or the birthing process progress better is more likely in a cozy environment where you're comfortable, lights aren't shining in your face.
Not everybody would be comfortable under that stress.
Yes.
Some And many people feel like or will be more comfortable in a hospital because
they feel
surrounded
safer
by, people that have done this and do it all day.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're not necessarily going to feel more comfortable at home. Many people do. And but before you get on to the next point, I feel like we should cover something really quick.
Yeah.
Rather than at the end of the video.
What?
About banning
Oh, I thought I already did cover
people
that.
in the comment section. Well, I know some people like to watch the video and comment as they go. And if we talk about this at the end, then some of you probably will have been banned already.
He's real hyped on this banning idea.
Yeah, so just be respectful in the comment section. If you're rude or you want to talk, just know it doesn't make us angry or piss us off. It's actually kind of fun because it's funny to us when we ban people for life. You only get one.
I will
choice,
read comments
or,
like,
or,
Dan, is this a response or a ban? He helps me.
One chance, and you never get the chance back. You're banned for life, and you don't come back. So
he really wanted to hit that point home.
Yeah.
So
and that goes for all the videos, not just this one, but especially this one, because I know the comments are coming in hot, and
hot and ready.
No one's gonna see your comment.
So there's that.
I'll probably read a little bit of it before I hit the ban for life button.
I want people to know that, but that's not my favorite topic to sit on. So now that we've covered that, which is all true, I guess circling back to the why home birth, exactly what you were saying is there's a comfort thing there. I think because I have now become so indoctrinated through books, podcasts, documentaries, and friends into believing oh, I think I can do this. I think my body was made for this. I like the idea of being at home. And you guys know, I told you in that first vlog, I like that idea so much better. I think that my uterus will probably be less shy at home because I'll be able to be relaxed. I'll be around my own beverages, my own food, my pups, my essential oils, my music, my piano, my plants. All of that just sounds magical. My bathtub.
But also you're going to be able to put your body in a position that is the most comfortable in your whole 24 hours of discomfort, as however long the labor may last. But for those of you who don't care too much about animals or watching or learning about
creature comforts,
someone who does
we're saying
never seen a video of an animal, of a mammal in the wild give birth on their back.
Yeah, I mean, that's another thing, too.
We are mammals, and so it's putting them on your back, that's hard. And that's the only thing you get when you go into a hospital. So
that's not true. They will sometimes put you in other positions. And I have heard stories. Yeah, and I have heard stories,
it's obviously not typical.
Well, Carly Crispin was on her side with the ball between her legs. They were trying to mimic, squatting. But it's... They have ways they tend to do things, and a lot of people will get defensive who work in the hospital system and say, no, they can be flexible with what you want, which I totally believe. But once again, I think it comes down to a personality thing, and I don't think that I would be the one lucky enough to be in that position. I think I would be uncomfortable, and all of this, once again, comes down to the plan. Who knows what's going to happen, but this is our plan. I also like the idea of the baby being born in our environment, with our germs, our bacteria, not in a environment that's kind of overly sanitized and kind of bacteria ridden at the same time.
But
this
also,
weird combo of both.
I've always thought taking such a fragile human, putting them in a car seat and going home, that always freaked me out. And
well, that's what I was gonna say.
Now
we'll be
little
home.
guy he's not gonna leave my house.
We're going to be home. I love that. Yeah. I mean, you hear from so many people that is a terrifying moment, is when they're like, okay, bye. And you're like, I got to go home now? Yeah. But, we're just going to be home.
Not even getting into an accident, but even just avoiding one in an emergency situation could jar them around. And, yeah, that's frightening. But I don't have to deal with that. So
Hopefully. Yeah. I mean, all of it So yeah, there's the germ thing. I think there's something to that about an environment a baby is born into. You know, our plan is to hopefully do a water birth. They will be coming over with a tub, even though I have a tub that I could labor in if I want to. I don't think that's the tub I want to give birth in.
We'll set it up in the bonus room.
Yeah, in the office with the Tower Garden plants and the piano and all of that. So they'll be coming over with all of that. It's really cool because the package that we're getting is so bougie. I keep joking. I'm like, geez, celebrity status, but it's so much cheaper than going to the hospital. And I feel so like excited. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm getting what I want for a fraction of the price. So basically,
some people have jobs where it's like 100% covered.
Yes.
We don't.
Because we're employed by YouTube, we have to pay.
No, we're not
employed. We're
employed
independent
by ourselves.
There you go. We have to pay for our own company insurance, which is expensive and, you know, whatever. We don't need to get into those details. But basically, it's not fully covered for us. And that, I want to throw out there, has nothing to do with this decision. Like, literally, the fact that this is cheaper is like I'm in shock. I'm like, what? I get the cheaper bougie version? Like, if I wanted the other, we would have paid for it. It just so happens that this is what I want. And I feel very, like, calm and confident now after the extensive amount of research that I've been doing and conversations with friends. Whereas when you guys saw that video, I was kind of freaking out because I wanted to do a home birth, but I couldn't bring myself there because I wasn't indoctrinated enough. I hadn't researched enough to understand.
You keep saying.
Because I have to keep indoctrinating. I'm literally indoctrinating myself. Like, every positive home birthing story and information, you know, situation out there, I am consuming and watching right now. Because I also think that birth, especially if you're going to do it at home, I think, is probably a lot mental. And I want it, which I think is a huge part of it. But I mean, yeah, every once in a while on days where I don't feel good, I will get more nervous. That's when I'll be like, can I really do this? I mean, I don't know what I'm talking about.
Jeez.
I've never felt this pain. Like, part of me in my head is like, how bad is it going to be? Like, if our body does this naturally, like, I'm going to survive, right? But then part of me is like, oh God. What are you going to say?
And when I hear women that have had multiple kids and the first ones they've had in the hospital and then they've done a home birth, seems like they all say that the home birth is just so much better. And I have to take their word for it. Did it involve more or less pain? That's not really what they say. It's just the whole thing. Just
like they all use the word
it.
magical. That's
like,
the word they all use.
What?
I'm all, wow, I want a magical birth.
I guess that's something that you know, that's just you. That's just gonna be you and
but
your
it's
head
not
and,
just gonna be me though.
Well, I know.
They say that a woman's afterwards, like her recollection of the experience, has a lot to do with what the environment was like when she was birthing. Like, what she tells herself afterwards had a lot to do with what was going on.
Since you're not being pumped full of drugs,
tentatively,
your brain releases drugs. Like, just something's happening there, and like what people look like afterwards, it looks like they
the biggest high of their life
come back from the dentist, and you know they're talking about stuff that is hilarious or doesn't make any sense, and it's like
Sarah
something's
Therese
going on in there, and it's funny.
Sarah Therese, her water birth vlog, her face afterwards is everything. She's just like, did you guys see that? Like, it's amazing. So to circle back to what we're getting for this whole home birth situation, we basically are getting 2 midwives because they like to do 2 midwives for someone who's birthing for the first time, and a doula. The doula will be on call, I think like 24/7, like weeks leading up to the birth. So anytime if I'm having questions, well, I can always get a hold of my midwife. We've texted a few times. But if I need someone to come over or check anything, the doula will come. And then the day of the birth, when my contractions, I believe, get to the point, like the doula could come, you know, the day before, hours before, whatever. But when I think my contractions get down to a minute long every 5 minutes, I think that's what it is, that's when the midwives will come. And then they will set up the birthing pool. They set up everything. They clean up everything. We still are going to orchestrate because I totally want to encapsulate my placenta to take as pills after the birth. But then after that, the doula is going to stay with us the midwives will stay as well for a few hours to make sure everything's good. But then the doula will stay at our house for a full 24 hours to literally do whatever we want. So if we're like, you got to take the baby, we're falling asleep, the doula will watch the baby for a day. If we're like, no, give us our baby, we don't want to leave our baby, then we'll have the baby. The doula will literally like do laundry and cook food. I'm like, what kind of
probably just go to Moscow.
bougie service is this? Like, crazy.
I just had deja vu though.
You did?
Because I remember sitting right here in front of this camera talking about adoption and how that didn't happen.
Isn't that crazy?
So hopefully
No,
this
I know.
all goes down the way we're describing right now. So
life, man. That's the thing though, is like you make your plans and then you live with open hands. I didn't mean for that to rhyme, but that was a very wise sounding rhyme. You make your plans, you live with open hands. Because you have to make a decision, right? You have to pick a care provider. You have to decide, okay, what do we think we're doing? But you don't know.
yeah, you have to play it by ear.
You have to play it by ear. So everything is just kind of like, we'll see, but
Otherwise it just causes too much anxiety.
yeah, totally. Side note, I really can't believe that like the secret is out, because I've been feeling for a while like, when are we gonna tell everyone? And I'll keep wanting to use the word midwife instead of like care provider or doctor, but I'm like, we haven't told people yet. So it's kind of surreal, and I'm very excited to continue to document this process, because a big part of my preparation is all on the perspective of like, you know, doing this without any intervention at home, and, you know, trying to make sure that to the best of my ability, I stay strong, and that I'm eating well, and, you know, not gaining too much weight, but, you know, gaining the healthy amount. And
But I'm also super stoked to be there with you and
Yes.
participate
me too.
and watch and help. I hope that I can be the one to help the sucker out and hand him to you.
I hope that he just pops right out into your hands. I hope that there is no helping him out. I hope it's a song.
No 25-minute crowning.
And then he comes out.
kinda
Yeah,
deal,
no thanks. That's the other thing about doing
You're
a home birth.
joking him.
No.
Hurry up.
That's the other thing about doing a home birth, is that like, and I even talked about this with my sister-in-law. I don't even think I told you that she said this about Chad, because I made a comment to her about how you know, the first midwife we she was lovely, but it was very much me and her in conversation, and Dan was in the corner. I don't even think she really like spoke to him, like, and this isn't bashing her if by some chance she, you know, sees the video, but she was really focused on me, and, you know, he wasn't really like involved, like he didn't have any part of this conversation. And when we went to our midwife appointment, the whole perspective of the home birth situation is really like that it's a partnership, and she was really hitting home the point that it is about the two of us, because we're going to birth together. He is my birthing partner, and we're actually going to be starting home birth classes in like, I think they start in like 2 weeks, where we're going to go over everything, like the best positions and breathing techniques, all the way down to even when the baby is delivered. So basics in lactation and like all of that kind of stuff. And we're going to go over human anatomy and like just all kinds of things. So I'm really excited for us to take this class together, and just excited that we're going to be doing this together. Like, that's what feels right for us, and the way that it feels like it should be for us is like, we made this person, let's bring them into the world together. And I don't know, I think I told you guys, maybe I didn't, but before getting pregnant,
Bowser's really excited.
he's stoked.
You could tell.
Before getting pregnant, home birthing is something that I never thought about. I just didn't really give it much thought. I didn't even know if I was ever going to have a biological baby. But it was like, once I got pregnant, that's the thing. I think I mentioned this to you guys. When I first mentioned this idea to my sister-in-law was like, whoa, like, you don't have to try to be a hero here. Like, it was, you know, this brave thing to do. And I'm literally like, that sounds better to me than, like, this is what I want to do than going to the hospital. I just don't feel like going to the hospital. I don't want to do the epidural. Like, the whole thing, as I'm saying right now, just doesn't sound fun. And so the fact that we're actually planning on embarking down this path is very surreal. It's like, I'm one of those people that is what? Like, what? So kind of crazy.
The only time I've ever been to the hospital is when I've broken bones.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I hate the hospital.
I mean, yeah, a lot of people, some people are really comfortable there. Like we were saying, the friend I spoke to, she's like, I like the idea of being in the hospital better. I just don't. So I will say, I feel like a lot of people are going to be asking questions about like resources.
Politely.
That's a polite question. And I will direct you to two directions first. One of the home birthing 101 documentaries that I feel like everyone who does a home birth has probably seen is The Business of Being Born. It's older, and it's not necessarily, like, I don't think, one of the things they tout in that movie is how often C-sections are given to people. I actually don't think that's true anymore. I think doctors, recognize that C-sections aren't great. But other than that, the whole documentary is, like, incredible. And very eye-opening and interesting food for thought.
Are you gonna tell them about that Instagram account?
Oh, that's a good idea, too.
Hilarious.
Okay, the Instagram account is called Birth Without Fear. It's X-rated, but honestly, if you're having a baby, like, welcome to the X-rated life. Like, we have just died laughing over this account because it is so X-rated and they've just got no shame. Like, it's amazing. We will, like, send it to each other. And, like, the other night we were at dinner for my sister's birthday and we're all, like, at dinner dying over these videos. They're amazing. So if you, Birth Without Fear is a great Instagram account. And then if you're considering a home birth, the sun again, the podcast that I have been loving is called Happy Homebirth. And it's gaining a lot of traction. It's fairly newish, but there's a lot of episodes on there. And she interviews moms and midwives and fitness, experts for postpartum stuff and while pregnant. And I've loved basically every episode I've listened to. So I highly suggest the Happy Home Birth. So we'll start with those three resources. That was a good one that you mentioned. Mm-hmm. Birth Without Fear, Happy Home Birth, and The Business of Being Born. I feel a little bit overwhelmed because I feel like this has been months of like non-stop research and indoctrination on our part with all things like natural birthing. So I feel like there's so much I didn't hit. I don't know. Maybe we did. I was literally just saying to him, like, it's so weird filming and then being like, did we hit everything?
Well, probably have to film another video.
Yeah, and feel free to let us know.
Find out what we didn't say and what we wanted to.
Yeah. And feel free to let us know in the comments if there's stuff that sounds really interesting to you or something we didn't hit that you would like us to talk about. I always can't stop messing with my hair when I'm filming. It's a problem.
If you comment, do your research, instant ban.
He really wants that point to be hit home.
That's like, that's the word for this video.
Yeah,
instant
that's a pet peeve of mine. Not only because we do research,
literally like every day.
Every day.
And not on just like.
It's not just confirmation bias. Yes. Yeah. We look at multiple sides. But on top of that,
you got to talk to people that have had experiences. You can't just open the internet and take the internet's word for it because the internet is full of lies anyways. So you can't ever really trust what you're reading fully. You have to, consume a lot of information and talk to lots of people with different opinions and make your own.
Yeah, the other reason that statement is a pet peeve of mine is because just because someone has done research doesn't mean they're going to come to the same conclusion as you. I was having this conversation with a friend recently too. People can look at the same research and come out with a different outcome. And guess what? That's okay. People are allowed to choose what they feel is best for them or what resonates best with them. So, yeah, do your research, come to the conclusion you want to come to. That's what we've done. We've chosen what we think is best for us, and we're super excited to share. I actually didn't know going into this how rare home birth was. Like
in this country.
I was shocked. It's like less than 1% in the US. I couldn't even believe it. And so I'm excited that if this is the way it goes, if this is what God has for us, I'm excited to share. I'm just excited. I hesitantly use that word because I'm also, emotions come in sets of 3, as my therapist says. So I'm also scared, but I'm kind of excited. I'm like, wow, I'm embarking on this thing that like every woman that, continues to procreate, like they've all gone through. So I'm like, wow, this is going to be crazy. So I think that's officially it because I can't think of anything else. Can you?
I'm just thinking about how...
About banning people?
Yeah, no. That this house is not prepared for a baby yet. I mean, it's not ready to come out yet, but yeah, I've got some work to do.
We've got. I mentioned that in a previous video. We have months of like just like some prep work we got to get done. So yeah, I'm so glad that we finally got to share with you guys. And that's it, people. So I will see you back here hopefully very soon with another new video. Have a fabulous rest of your day wherever you are. And that's all. Bye, guys.